Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
Let's talk Impact. April 18th, 1938. Action Comics #1 is published. Writer Jerry Siegel, illustrator Joe Shuster. It's Superman. He's smashing a car. But we don't care about that because it's animation weekend. We heard the talk drawings in motion, animation, cartoons. So, we go from 1938 to 1941, September 26th. Superman, the cartoon. It's released. And it quickly falls into freebie. It's somewhat of a public domain series. It runs for 9 episodes. It gets bought out. That's Fleischer Studios. They produce Superman all the way down to Terror on the Midway. August 30th, 1942. They get bought out. And 1942 to 1943, it's the famous studio Superman. But all of these episodes, but largely the first 9, you can buy them in dollar stores, Five Belows, VHSs. They were cheap, affordable, and just out there. The impact of this, well, it's legendary. But we're in an era now where these cartoons, what they created in the Superman mythology, which is the telephone booth, it's gone. We've had 2 straight Superman live action releases between the 2013 Man of Steel, the 2025 Superman, or Superman Legacy, if you want to go by that. None of them feature the telephone booth trope. So, does that lessen the impact of the Fleischer cartoons, where everybody still glazes? Everyone is still kind of on the knob of these. I feel they haven't watched them because I don't see much impact. I don't see much impact even for animation. If we look at the newer Superman Adventures and animated series, The Adventures of Superman, that's the anime one. So, Max Fleischer cartoon in Technicolor, 1942 to 1943, at one point was the absolute benchmark of any superhero animated cartoon storytelling. Absolute benchmark. And we're in an era now where the animation style, but it's not just that, right? The animation style can come and go. We've seen nods of it. We've seen action figures of the Fleischer Superman design. I don't know why you would want that. I'd rather have an animated cell. I mean, maybe. I'd rather have, I like the drawings. I like the production drawings. You can keep... The cells melt, by the way. You know how many animated cells I've had, guys, where I bought, they got sticky, I freaking dumped them, I sold them. I'd rather have the drawings. But the drawings are going to deteriorate too. So where are we? So this comes from what's considered to be the golden age of American animation. But we get something, though. We do get a wonderful observation with this. And I love that this series was produced by Paramount. We get a few observations. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. A few observations. The big one to me is that you can have something free. It can be free and influential. And that's what the Fleischer Superman is. It's available right now on YouTube. Go check it out. People organized it in so many different ways. Somewhat 3-hour-long movies. Part 1 movie, Part 2 movie, Part 2 being what they like to call the lost episodes. It's a ton of stuff. If you want super high quality, they're on YouTube. You can pay for it. I guess maybe that goes to the families, but I think that goes right to the corporation. But to me, it's largely interesting that the idea of Clark Kent transforming into Superman using a phone booth, which I guess the biggest platform for that might have been the Jerry Seinfeld Superman Super Bowl commercial where he's walking and talking with a Kurt Swan animated Superman. You might get that, right? But then Man of Steel doesn't use it. James Gunn doesn't use it. So that was the last final impact of this series. But, you can have something free and influential. I would say the other huge takeaway is Superman may not work in animation, guys. We may not want an animated Superman. Because we get this, right? And then it's not until the Adventures of the 1966 series. So we go from 43 to 66. And what's in between? The black and white Superman that reigned for, 4-5 seasons. We had two different actors. One of them tragically passed away. So we have the live action. And then we get Superboy live action. Then we get Lois and Clark live action. Yesterday we profiled the 88 Ruby Spears animated Superman. That was in all intent to bring the character back into the modern age for a new audience. But the next year the Batman movie, the Tim Burton Batman movie comes out and just demolishes any momentum Superman had, but they try and piggyback, right? And we'll always go through this. Batman the animated series, The Adventures of Superman animated series, that leads into Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, but it's really all Batman. Superman from the 90s animation never caught on as a merchandising vehicle. So the character dies, right? Like it's just dead. Superman Returns fails, but we don't see much of that even now. We get this James Gunn Superman movie with no animation support. It's just a live action. And you think that this character is so vast, is so powerful, that yes, the different writers and creators built out his power set as the generations and opportunities came about. But we see the range of his power in these early episodes. They're incredibly well crafted. I love when Superman saves Lois with the falling lava. It's just one of my favorite images from all of this work, where he just shields Lois with his cape and kind of builds the concept that maybe his costume also is special, is of alien origin. He's not just wearing spandex, which we really do get a notion of that with the Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, where he's gifted the suit, and the suit is of Kryptonian technology. I think that makes a lot of sense. But I do feel like a lot of people talk about this series without watching it. I feel like they talk about this series without adding it in any level of perspective. To me, it's eye-opening when you realize that potentially the Superman character as a solo anime series does not work. It's a crazy observation. It really makes me lean into that Superman truly only works in the comic books. He's a comic book character. He works in the comics, but we get shining lights. We get like the first 4 seasons of Smallville, the first season of Lois and Clark, the first season of Superman, Lois and Clark, the newer one. There's even moments in this James Gunn movie where we're there, but as of a long, extensive arc in live action, I don't know, aka Powers. I think the more progressive the world gets, the more that the world marches on, the more of this character fades. And I do see it. If we watch these cartoons, you have to be mindful of that. All right, aka Powers. Gloomy gloomy Saturday weekend animation episode. I do apologize, but we got more coming. So let's go.
Okay, that's a wrap.